जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे बोलो। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परवगच अष्टसठ डिवाइन ग्रेस ऐसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी प्रपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परवैकाचार अष्टोसठ डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति महाराज की अनंत कोट वैष्णव भक्तवंदे जी की नामाचार हृदय ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासादि गौर भक्तवंदे की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपीनाथ श्याम कराकिंद गोवर्धन की वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की नवदीप मायप धाम की गंगा मैया की यमुना मैया की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की हाँ ते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा का नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावने श्री वृषभानुसुते देवे प्रणम्रिये वांछा कल्पतरुवर्ष कृपा सिंधुवोचा पतितानां पावने वैष्णोदेवो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शंकरो नरकायेव। बोलिए शंकरो नरकायेव कुलघ्नानां कुलस्य च पितन्ति पितरो हि ऐषां लुप्त पिंडोदक क्रिया। शंकरो नरकायेव कुलघ्नानां कुलस्य च पतन्ति पितरो हि ऐषां लुप्त पिंडोदक क्रिया। शंकरो नरकायेव कुलघ्नानां कुलस्य च पतन्ति पितरो हि ऐषां लुप्त पिंडोदक क्रिया। कुलघ्नानां कुलस्य च पतन्ति पितरो हि ऐषां लुप्त पिंडोदक क्रिया। शंकरो नरकायेव कुलघ्नानां कुलस्य च पतन्ति पितरो हि ऐषां लुप्त पिंडोदक क्रिया। Anyone, Mataji's? Anyhow. Now, what's what meaning and translation? His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki Sankaro, such unwanted children, Kulghanam Narkaeva, make for hellish life. Eva, certainly. Kula Gnanam, for those who are killers of the family. Kulasya, for the family. Cha, also. Patanti, fall down. Pitara, forefathers. He, certainly. Esham, of them. Lupta, stopped. Pinda, of offering of food. Udaka, and water. Kriya, performances. Translation: an increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life both for the family and for those who destroy the family traditions. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performance for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Now repeat again after me. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because performance for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. Now, purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki. चलो According to the rules and regulations of fruitary activities, there is a need to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers of the families. This offering is performed by worship of Vishnu because eating the remnants of food offered to Vishnu can deliver one from all kinds of sinful reactions. Sometimes the forefathers may be suffering from various types of sinful reactions, and sometimes some of them cannot even acquire a gross material body and are forced to remain in the subtle bodies as ghosts. Thus, when remnants of prasadam food are offered to the forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from ghostly or other kinds of miserable life. Such have rendered to forefathers is a family tradition, and those who are not in devotional life are required to perform such rituals. One who is engaged in the devotional life is not required to perform such actions simply by performing devotional service. One can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all kinds of misery. It is stated in the Bhagavatam 11.5.41. देवर्ष भूत तृप्तानाम पितॄणाम न किंकरो न अयम नृणी च राजनः सर्वात्मना या शरणयम गतो मुकुंदम परहत्य कर्तम. Anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kind of obligation, and has taken to the path in all seriousness, owes neither duties for obligation to the demigods, sages, general living condition, entities, family members, humankind, or forefathers. Such obligations are automatically fulfilled by the performance of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. So here in this verse, there is a unwanted population, unwanted children, and the performance of the offering of food and water to the ancestors. So those who are the devotees of the Lord, actually there is no need to perform such performance actually. But those who are not devotees of the Lord, actually they are required to perform the process of the offering food to the ancestors of the families actually. So what is there in the battlefield at the Kurukshetra? Arjun asked the Lord to draw his chariot in the midst of both armies actually. And Lord drew his chariot in the midst of both the armies actually and asked Arjun to see all his relatives and friends on both sides of the army actually. When Arjun saw his friends and relatives on both sides of the army, he felt compassion actually, fearing that all these friends and relatives will be killed in the battle actually. This he did not want actually, because he does not want to enjoy the life without the presence of his friends and relatives actually. This is the thing actually. Hmm? And seeing this actually, he was trembling actually. Covering, his body was covering actually. His limbs were covering actually. And his Gandhi was actually slipping out of his hands actually. He was not able to speak properly. Hmm? So it was there actually, it was exhibited that there was a deep attachment of the family members which Arjun has felt actually. Therefore, the Arjun was not prepared to fight because he feared that all his relatives and friends will be killed in the battlefield and he will be unable to share his opulence after victory. The transcendent life is our different from material life. Arjun did not want to kill his relatives and friends, and if there were any need to kill them, he desired that Krishna will kill them actually. He was a devotee of the Lord, he does not want actually. He desired that Krishna will kill them personally. At this point, he did not know that the Krishna had already killed them before their coming to the battlefield, and that he was only to become an instrument for Krishna actually. There is a text in chapter 11 Bhagavad-Gita 33. Tasmat yasolavasya jitta satuna bhuksha. Tasmat uttishta yasolavasva jitva satun bhuksha rajyam samudradham mayave tehneta purmevam nimitta matram bhava sabya sachin. Therefore, the Lord said actually, get up, prepare to fight and win glory actually. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, Sabyasachi, can put an instrument in the fight actually. Because the Lord Krishna was just actually fighting that war actually. The Arjun was just an instrument actually. So this Arjuna, he was the natural devotee of the Lord actually. He did not like to retaliate against the miscreants, cousins and brothers actually. But it was the Lord's plan that they should be killed actually. The devotee of the Lord does not retaliate against the wrongdoer actually. But the Lord does not tolerate any mischief done to the devotee by the miscreants. Lord can excuse a person on his own account, but he accuses no one on his own account, but he accuses no one who has done harm to his devotees actually. Therefore, the Lord was determined to kill the miscreants, although the Arjuna wanted to excuse them actually. So what is there? There is a difference between the devotees and non-devotees. The devotees excuse all the wrongdoers actually. But the non-devotee, they do not excuse actually. Yes. The Arjun told the Lord Krishna, he gave some reasons actually why he is not interested in fighting against the Kauravas actually. Number one, he says that if he kills the Kauravas, what is there? The sin will overcome us. Therefore, it was not proper for the Arjuna to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and his friends. What will the result of the fighting? With the destruction of the dynasty, what will result? With the destruction, the family will be there will be destruction of the dynasty. The eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family involves in the irreligious activities. When religion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the woman of the family become corrupt. Actually, see this. And from the degradation of the womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. Arjun fear because when there is a when there is a degradation of the woman actually, or the woman become polluted, so there will be a unwanted progeny actually. When there is an unwanted child actually, or is an undesirable child, because their guardians or the fathers will be killed in the war, there will be nobody to look after them, to guide them, to shape their future actually. Means they may involve in antisocial activities such as dishonesty, untruthfulness that gives rise to become thieves, dacoits, molesters, rapists, hoarders, black marketers, etc. Because those who are not guided, though there is no protection to them actually, they are misguided actually. Right? So their family tradition are destroyed also. Regarding family tradition, so what is the family tradition? So at the time of the this Kurukshetra war actually, ancient family traditions are based on the patriarchal joint families actually, where all decisions relating to properties, moral values are managed collectively by the eldest persons actually. The extended family function as one single family, one single unit. Uncle, cousins, and nephews lived under one roof actually. Individual choices were less important actually. Then the welfare of the entire whole family group. Respect for elders was deeply ingrained from childhood actually. This is the family tradition actually. Family practiced Shraddha to honor their ancestors. These were the rituals performed by sons and grandsons. It was a tradition meant to bind the family members together through a common bloodline and respect for those who born before them actually. Familial duty was the highest law. Eldest brothers or the father was the head of the family. Younger brothers deferred to his decisions. However, if the leader failed to their moral duties, the entire clan would face ruin actually. Family traditions, one has to perform the offering of food and water to their ancestors for their well-being. Why the offering of food and water is offered to the ancestors? Because one is under the debt of demigod actually. Because when we live in this world actually, physical world, we are debted actually. Debted for what? The debted for the sunlight, moonlight, debted for the food, and there are various things actually. And this concept is only applicable for those who are non-devotees actually. Non-devotees of the Lord actually. But this concept is not applicable because of the devotees actually. Why? Because devotee who completely surrenders to the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna actually. When he surrenders to the lotus feet of Krishna actually, he is free from all the material obligations and debt, including those owed to the parents, demigod, and sages actually. Devotee, why the devotee is no longer debtors actually? This is a very important thing actually. The devotees of Krishna are not debtors. Everyone, devotee considers himself the part and parcel of the Krishna. So when we serve the Krishna for his pleasure, we need not to serve anyone more actually. Only when we serve the Krishna actually, everything is included in that actually. This is very much important actually. When a person surrenders completely to Lord Krishna, they serve the ultimate source actually. Ultimate source is Lord Krishna actually. When we serve the Lord Krishna, he is the origin of everyone. Serving him automatically satisfies all other living entities. Let us think of a tree actually. If you water the root of the tree, the water is automatically reaches the leaves, branches, and fruits. We need not to water the individual, every single leaf separately. Similarly, by serving the food, serving the Lord Krishna, you automatically repay all your worldly debts to ancestors and demigods actually. While a devotee is presently free from the strict karmic debt of their parents, this does not mean a devotee should be cruel or neglectful. Authentic devotional service bring out the best human qualities. Devotees still respect and ensure their parents are cared for, but their ultimate duty and focus lies in serving the Supreme Lord actually. The devotee do not neglect their parents actually, because they know actually this is very much important. Now the next other side, one who has not fully surrendered to the devotional service of Lord undoubtedly has many material duties actually to perform. Every ordinary conditioned soul is the recipient of the innumerable benefits given by the demigods. They provide us sunlight, moonlight, rain, wind, food, and ultimately one's own material body. Right? Then what they provide is Ishtan bhogan hi vo deva dasyante yagya bhavita tedatta pradayabhyo yo bhukte istena evasa. In charge of the various necessities of life, the demigods, being satisfied by the performance of yajna, will supply all necessities to you. But he who enjoys such gift without offering them to the demigods in return is certainly a thief actually. But if you are serving the Lord actually, you are surrendered to the Lord actually, you need not to focus on such thing actually, because you have to just care for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of the God actually. So in this actually, one who does not reciprocate with the demigod by offering them sacrifice is a thief. Similarly, other living entities such as cows are providing us the delicious milk, nutritious foodstuffs. When we wake up in the morning, our mind is refreshed by sweet singing of words, and a hot day we enjoy the cool shade and breeze of the forest trees. We are accepting service from the innumerable living entities. We are obliged to repay them until we become a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one is certainly a product of a society. So we should be the devotee of the Lord actually. We must perform the devotion service for the pleasure of the Lord actually. We receive mundane education, culture, education and protection from society in which we live. And we owe a great debt to the society. When we are not the devotee of the Lord actually, we owe a great debt of the society. Of course, our debt to society is not simply to present order, but to all our forefathers and ancestors who carefully preserved moral and social customs to that. Yatha toromulan risichinena traptyanti tatiskandha bhujopasha panopachara yathindriyanam tatheva sarvanaham uttejya. As pouring water on the root of the tree energizes the trunk, branches, twigs, and everything else, as we supply food to the stomach, enlivens the senses, the limbs of the body, simply worshipping the Supreme Personality Godhead through the devotional service automatically satisfy the demigods who are parts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead actually. So we must sincerely perform devotional service to Supreme Personality of God actually. There is no need for any effectiveness in separately pouring water on the branches, twigs, and leaves of the tree. Means there is no separately servicing the Supreme Personal Godhead or the ancestors actually. The water has to be placed on the root. We have to perform the Supreme Personality of Godhead actually, who is the root of all things actually. Similarly, food must be placed in the stomach, from where it automatically distributes to all limbs of the body actually. It is foolish to nourish the whole body by rubbing food separately on all bodies, limbs. Similarly, the Supreme Person Godhead, Krishna, is the source of all existence actually. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate itamatta bhajante mam buddha bhavam samanvita. Lord Krishna says, I am the source of all spiritual and material words. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts actually. Everything is emanating from Krishna. Everything is maintained by Krishna. And at the end, everything will merge to rest in Krishna actually. Bhoktaram yagatavistam sarvalokam maheshwaram swarda sarva bhutanam gyatam santim rikshati. The sages knowing me as the ultimate purpose of all the sacrifice and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all the living entities, attain peace from the pangs of material miseries actually. Supreme Personal Godhead Krishna is the supreme benefactor, friends, protector, and well-wisher of every living entity. And if he is satisfied, then automatically the whole world will become satisfied actually. Just as all of the bodily limbs are strengthened and satisfied when food is duly emptied to the stomach actually. So this is the thing actually, everything is concentrated on the Supreme Personality of God actually. One should serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the devotional service to the Lord actually. There is an example actually. Now, a man who is working as a personal secretary to the great king actually, he has no further obligations to the petty manner kings actually. Undoubtedly, an ordinary person has many obligations within the material world, but according to the Bhagavad-Gita, satata siddhya yuktas tasya aradhanam ihate lavate chatad kaman maya vihitan hitan. The Lord said, actually, endowed with such a faith, he endeavors to worship a particular demigods and obtain his desires. But in actually, these benefits are bestowed by me alone, actually. Demigods cannot award benedictions, actually, to their devotees, actually, without the permission of the Supreme Lord. Living entity may forget that everything is the property of the Supreme Lord, actually. But the demigod do not forget. So, the worship of demigods and achievement of the desired results are due not to the demigod but to the Supreme Personal Godhead by arrangement. The less intelligent living entity does not know this and therefore he foolishly goes to the demigods for some benefit actually. So those who are foolish, they go for the Supreme Personal Godhead for their demands actually, for their desired actually. So it is actually the Supreme Lord who is giving all benedictions actually, not the demigod actually. For example, one receives one body by the mercy of the Lord Krishna actually. Sometimes a deformed child is born, and sometimes a child is born dead. So, although all parents desire a beautiful, highly qualified child, this is often not the case. Thus, it can be understood that ultimately it is by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, actually, that a man and woman are able to produce a child in good shape, actually. It is only by the mercy of the Lord that the child is born in a healthy condition and reaches the physical maturity to pursue his own life. If at any stage in the evolution of the human being, the Lord's mercy is withdrawn, the sudden death or crippling disease occurs actually. So everything in the life, this is because of the mercy of the Lord actually. One must totally depend upon the Supreme Personal God actually. They should not perform the devotions of the service to the demigods or ancestors actually. What are the demigods are also not independent. So one should give up the concept that demigods are not separate from the Krishna. The demigods are also living entities just like human being, but they are at the higher up actually. Demigods are different limbs of the universal body of the Supreme Lord. Sarvasya chaham hidasan visto mata smriti jnanam apohanam cha vedescha sarver aham veda vedyo vedant krita veda videva chaham. The Lord said that I am seated in everyone's hearts, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta. I am the knower of Vedas. The Supreme Lord is situated as Paramatma in everyone's hearts, and it is for him that all the activities are initiated actually. The living entity forgets everything of his past life, but he has to act according to the direction of Supreme Lord, who is witness to all his work. Therefore, he begins his work and according to his past deeds. Required knowledge supplied to him and remembrance is given to him, then he forgets also about his past life. Supreme Personality God is situated in everyone's hearts, and that he is the only intelligence and memory. He provides intelligence and memory. Our forefathers who carefully preserved cultural traditions were acting with the intelligence provided by the Supreme Personal Godhead actually. They certainly were not acting with their own independent intelligence. No one can be intelligent without a brain actually. And it is only by Krishna mercy that we receive a human raven actually. If we carefully analyze all our multifarious obligations towards the different classes of living entity, we shall find that in each and every case it is ultimately by the mercy of the Lord Krishna that we have received a particular benediction in life actually. So, although an ordinary person must methodically fulfill all his various obligations by executing different types of sacrifice and charitable activities for the satisfaction of those who have benefited him, one who is directly serving the Supreme Person Godhead Krishna at once fulfills all such obligations because of benedictions ultimately have come from Lord through the agency of family, forefathers and demigods. तावत् कर्माणि कुर्वीत न निर्विदयेत यावता मदकथा श्रवणो वा श्रद्धा यावन्न जायते. As long as one is not satiated by fruitive activities and has not awakened his taste for devotional service by hearing the and chanting about the Supreme Lord, one has to act according to the regulative principle of Vedic injunction. You know, what is the regulative principle of Vedic injunction? Anyone can know? Regulative principle. Anyone know? No? The regulative principles of Vedic instruction are strict moral rules designed to guide human behavior. These guidelines purify the mind and control the senses, help people achieve spiritual freedom. They are foundation of righteous living. So what is this? These are the meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illegal sex. The other regulative principle actually. I think you know basically actually. Initially when you join the ISKCON actually, we are told this actually regulative principle of the Vedas actually. So, the human should not eat meat, fish or egg because when we eat the meat and eggs actually, we are not merciful. We become cruel to them actually. So we avoid this thing. Right? And no gambling. Gambling means gambler becomes dishonest actually. Always his mind is thinking about dishonesty, how to win the game actually. Right? So one should not play gamble actually. And intoxication or use of drugs, alcohol, tobacco, caffeine, etc. So what is these clouds around the mind actually, and overstimulate the senses. And no illicit act. Definitely everybody know actually. This is restricted to the marriage actually, and is meant only for having children actually. This rule promotes physical and mental purity and help individual focus on higher spiritual goals actually. These are the regulative principles actually. This is must actually. Kame te te hadgyana pradadante anna devata tam tam yam asthaya prakatya nitya swaya. So those who serve the demigod, who are the devotees of demigods, this is described in this actually verse actually. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by the material desires actually. Those who have material desire. Material means they want money, they want property, anything they want actually. They want actually the beautiful wife, everything actually. So those whose intelligence has been stolen by the material desires surrender unto demigods actually, and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature actually. This is the thing actually. Right? And those who are free from all the material desire, contaminations, surrender unto the Supreme Personal God actually. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by the material desire, they do not surrender unto Supreme Personal God actually. And they remain actually non-devotees of the Lord actually throughout their life actually. And they follow in the repeated cycle of birth and death actually. They cannot get out of the repeated cycle of birth and death actually. They remain in this physical part actually. Right? But those who are free from all material contaminations, they don't desire anything actually. They only desire Supreme Personal God actually. They surrender to Supreme Personal Godhead actually. And what they do? When they surrender to Supreme Personal God actually, they engage in the devotional service to the Lord actually. So there is a condition, as long as the material contamination is not completely washed off, they are by nature non-devotees actually. But even those who have material desires and who resort to the Supreme Lord are not so much attracted by external nature, because approaching the right goal actually, they soon become free from all material lust actually. Whether one is a pure devotee and is free from all material desire, or is full of material desire, or desires liberation from material contamination, he should in all cases surrender to Vasudev, Supreme Personal Godhead, and worship him actually. As is. Akama, what's the time here? Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi trivina bhakti yogena jatate purusham parama. Less intelligent people who have lost their spiritual senses and take shelter of demigods for immediate fulfillment of the material desires, generally such people do not go to Supreme Personality of God actually. Because they are in the lower modes of nature. Lower modes of nature in the mode of ignorance and mode of passion actually. And therefore, worship various demigods following the rules and regulations of worship. They are satisfied only by performance or devotional service to the demigods actually. The worshippers of demigods are motivated by the small desires and do not know how to reach the supreme goal, but a devotee of the Supreme Lord is not misguided. Because in the Vedic literature, there are recommendations for worshipping different gods for different purposes. Those who are not devotees of the Lord think that for certain purposes demigods are better than Supreme Lord. Those who think like this, they have to remain this material birth after birth actually. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that Ekale Ishvara Krishna are Sabhrit actually. Only the Supreme Personal Godhead Krishna is the master and all others are servant actually. So what the devotee thinks? Devotees thinks that we are the servant to the Lord actually. And the Lord Krishna is the master of us actually. Our duty is to serve the Lord Krishna actually. This is the prime importance actually. Therefore, the devotees of the Lord Krishna, they never goes to the demigods for satisfaction of their material needs. He totally depends on the Supreme Lord. People in general, time ho gaya. Hare Krishna, I think time is over actually. I may stop here actually. Anybody who wants any question, actually, he can ask me, actually. Hare Krishna, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.